I remember being in driver's ed and the driving instructor being like, I don't know if you'll be able to drive. I don't think that you'll be able to drive because of your condition, because of your autism. And now look at me. I am a driver and I've been driving for 8 years. Surprisingly, the driving instructor and I both thought the same, but we were both proven wrong by myself. Who knew? I'm gonna talk about it. Let's go. Hi there. My name is Paige Layle. If you don't know, I'm autistic and we talk about autism and stuff. If you're new here, hi. Or if you're subscribed, you know, like welcome back, home skillet biscuit. Or if you're just chilling and you don't want to subscribe, you don't want to commit yet. Like I get you. Some of us have fears of commitment. You gotta watch a few videos so I can prove myself. I totally get you.
But like it's a good amount of you guys. So maybe just like throw a girl a sub. Maybe a little like or something.
I'm autistic and I have ADHD and I have about 15,000 other things. And I'm gonna talk about my driving experience today. So I'm from small town, as in country, as in fields, as in dirt back roads, as in my neighbor was a 4-wheeler drive away. So where I come from, most people are driving something like a 4-wheeler, an ATV, a dirt bike, a tractor, honestly, their parents' truck by the age of 10. By the age of 10, you've probably something that had a motor, more than just like a motorized scooter or something, or a hoverboard, because we didn't have hoverboards back in my day, okay? And so that was an experience to some. Was it my experience? No. Autistic Paige was not about motorized vehicles. Honestly, she wasn't even about driving at the age of 16. She was like, that's scary. But little autistic Paige, do you want to drive something loud? No, thank you. I don't want to be around anything loud, please. I don't want to be around anything loud. I don't want to be dirty. I do not want to be in the mud. I have sensory issues. I am not going to do that. So the only driving experience I had was I had a little Barbie Jeep when I was a baby. Oh, I ripped in that Barbie Jeep. Golf cart experience, the 2 times I went golfing. So prior to getting my driver's license, there was barely any illegal driving occurring. Not even really like the 4-wheeler in the field, the snowmobile. No. I was not about it. Too loud, man. My parents both had big trucks. My dad always had a big work truck with ladders sticking out the back. And my mom had, at the time, she had her Aspen, but then soon after she got a Tahoe. So like big old boy. And they were like, we don't want you driving this truck. We don't want you practicing with this expensive truck. So you're not gonna get any practice, Paige. Welcome to driver's ed. I was super duper nervous about driving. But honestly, I was like, okay, if my parents can do it, I think I can do it. Sorry. So I got put into driver's ed. Now there's like a few different driver's eds, but the first part of driver's ed was 20 hours of in-class learning. I did this over the summer. It was like literally a week before I turned 16. And so it was 5 days, 4 hours in the morning every day for those 5 days. And then you completed your in-class driver's ed. And then after that, they would give you 20 hours of in-car time with an instructor. Now the in-car time would be conveniently after I got my G1, so then I would be able to drive with an instructor. So here's driver's ed. First of all, totally recommend driver's ed. I was really not about to just get in a car without knowing anything. I'm like, can I please sit in a classroom and have someone talk to me about cars and driving first? So driver's ed, I was like, please, thank the Lord. I'm so excited. And driver's ed was easy, boom, boom, easy. I'm autistic, pattern recognition, I've always been good at tests. I've always been good at shit like this. I knew I was gonna be good at driver's ed. It didn't matter about being good at driver's ed. I just wanted to know all the stuff. For the driver's ed that I took, the instructor in class guy was the twin of the guy who was the driving around the car guy. One thing that I thought was interesting to note was that the class did a test for road rage to see like how much road rage we have. And mind you, in this course, because it was a week-long thing, it was a lot of people that I knew and went to school with, and then some people that I kind of like considered friends ish. I think there was only like maybe one person, one person in the class that wasn't in our grade at our school. So it was a pretty chatty class and we all kind of talked about our results for everything and shared them and got excited. Anyway, road rage test. And like, I think I'm a pretty nice person. Anyway, I had the highest score for road rage out of the girls by far. I'm pretty sure. So the test, I don't know how many points it had, whatever, but I had like 84, something in the 80s. The other gals had like in the teens or the 20s. And then there was this one guy who was kind of like my friend in middle school, who now as an adult, I'm like, oh, he might be a sociopath. Paige did not have the best judgment in middle school. He was the only person that had a higher road rage score than I did, and it was like 100 and something. Which I was like, that makes sense. Like, he was, I'm pretty sure, on steroids at the time too. And so I'm like, yeah, you're an angry person. Me, am I an angry person? And then we talked about it. I'm like, yeah, I guess I am an angry person. I have a problem when people don't follow the rules. I have this in my head, this, I don't know, weird idea, I guess, autism, that everyone is just gonna follow the rules and be good, because that's what I expect, because that's what people expect of me. That's what we expect for each other. That's how society works. And I get frustrated when I'm disappointed by my fellow man. I've never been a yelly, screamy person. I've never been like, you're right, except when I'm driving. I have road rage. I'm like, are you stupid? Like, do you not see with your eyes? Hear with your ears? Do you know how a car works? But the funniest thing, the best thing to do when someone like really just pisses you off is just like when you drive by them, just give them a thumbs up. I honestly think that's worse than anything else. If I got a thumbs up by somebody, I'd be like, yeah, that was a bad one, boss. I'm sorry. So we're just finishing up in-class driver's ed. Paige, you passed. You are the winner and you are moving on to the next challenge. I'm like, thank you, sir, so much. Then, okay, so we're about to like leave. It's the last day. Everyone's getting excited, whatever. And then Buddy goes, okay, let's talk about something we gotta talk about now in the curriculum because they're getting all, you know, disabled and shit. So let's talk about it. I need any of you who are autistic to come up to me and talk to me at the end of class, and we're just gonna have a little conversation and just discuss some things. I'm like, oh fuck, that's me. I was almost 16. My autism diagnosis was still like a huge thing in my life, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have to go and talk to this man afterwards. So what I did, because I'm a social genius, because I'm autistic and masked for a lot of my life, I conveniently just like made a big mess before class ended, so everyone left class before I did. And so I'm going up to him at the end. Everyone's already left and I'm still there. No one else talked to him but me. Alrighty, swag, wag, wag. I come up, I'm like, hello, mister. Oh, I'm so sorry, I forget your name for this reenactment that I'm doing for a YouTube video. You said something about autism and stuff, and hello, c'est moi. I have autism. That's the thing. He was like, oh, okay. Let's look at your test score. Let's see how this test goes. So he's like, pulls out the test and like try to pull out a tissue. He pulls out the test and he's like, okay, well, you did really freaking good and you know things. And like, okay, well, like, how does driving, like, have you had experience driving? And I'm like, nope. And he's like, okay, do you have a car to practice in? Nope, you don't have a car. No, sir. Okay, what do you got? Well, my parents have trucks. What else? No, just trucks. Four-wheeler? No, that's not the same. I didn't think it was the same. He was like, I'm really nervy for you. I'm quite nervy. Qu'est-ce que c'est? He's like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to drive. Most autistic people can't drive. It's very hard. So I'm a little scared for you. And that's basically what we left on. He's like, I'm scared for you. Good luck, Charlie. Oh, okay, cool. So no resources, no help whatsoever. Just like, oh, you're autistic? Thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna let you know how scared I am. What a wonderful conversation that added to my life. In car starts, I got the twin brother. The brother looks like Hulk Hogan, but I don't say that at first because I just leave that in. The brother like pats me on the shoulder a lot and calls me, so he called me like sweetheart or something a lot. And I'm just like, because like at this point, I'd already almost been abducted like 3 times. You know, I'm very about men. But conveniently, he would come pick me up after school. You know, I wouldn't have to take the bus home. I would just walk over to the car. He's like, Paige, come on in, get ready for the lesson. Let's go. My first time driving in the driver's ed car was the first time I'd ever driven a vehicle ever before. like a car. It was my first time driving. My first time ever. I was like, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna be the worst driver ever. Here we go. Car. Little Mitsubishi little boy, I'm pretty sure. I'm terrified. I'm absolutely just terrified. I'm terrified to move. I'm terrified to press any buttons. I am sweating. I get in there. I'm like barely looking at him. I am clearly being more autistic in the car than than I was in the classroom because in the classroom I was in my motherfucking element. I was acing the tests. Here I am doing a social interaction impromptu by myself with man. Scary. 2, doing activity I am scared of and don't know how to. 3, authority, I'm gonna cry. 4, stressed, I'm gonna cry. 5, I'm sweating, sensory overload, I'm gonna cry. So I come in just crying. I'm like, I gotta tell you something, I'm autistic. And he's like, well, good luck, I guess we'll just see. Okay, thanks Hulk Hogan, I appreciate that so much. So we get going. First thing, he's like, okay, you're gonna drive just, a little bit over there, and we're just gonna park the car, and I'm gonna show you all the parts of a car, how a car works, so that you know. So driving there, sweaty spaghetti, whatever. Drove for the whole thing. I'm pretty sure it was like an hour and a half each time, but I was great. I was a great driver. I did great and fine. There was only one time that I was like on hour 19 where me and Hulk were like this. That at a red light, I put both of my hands down and took them both off the steering wheel. And he's like, did you just take both your hands off the steering wheel? And I'm like, yup. He's like, fail. You failed your test. You failed driver's ed. You failed your driver's test. You wouldn't have your driver's license. Fuck. Okay. And then I cried because like I couldn't not cry when stuff like that happened. Yeah, it was not that bad. It was not that bad. It's just rules. It's just do the rules in real life. And I'm like, okay, the only problem for me, I can do the rules. My problem is other people don't always do the rules. And that's okay of a problem to have. Could be the other. People could have a problem with me instead I have a problem with them. Hulk Hogan's like, okay, Paige, you gotta drive your mom's truck. So I tried driving my mom's truck. I was just sitting in the truck in the garage trying to back up. And oh my God, backing up in a big truck when you're beginning to drive, being autistic, I don't know, it's a whole different spatial awareness, working backwards, completely new when you're a new driver. And I wasn't going very fast, but I did nick the end of my mom's passenger side mirror on in the garage, and it broke a little bit of the plastic off and had a crack in the mirror, and I was so upset. My dad was with me because I was not driving with my mother. I had tried doing that and my mother was just awful to drive with. So I'm like, only dad. And that happened, and I just pulled forward and went in and started crying, and I'm like, I'm never driving again. I'm so sorry. Told mom, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'll pay for whatever I need to pay for. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so I was like, I hate my life. I believe that I did that. I was terrified of driving, but it wasn't too bad. I knew it wasn't too bad. I was still obviously really upset about it, but I knew it wasn't too bad. I knew it was a tight, difficult space and a very large vehicle. So I tried again. I don't know if it was later that day or another day, but I'm with my dad anyway. And this time we went on the highway. So all around my home, there are highways. My house is in the country. And so if it's not a dirt road, it's a highway that takes you to other dirt roads and then cities sometimes. And so I had to get on the highway. This was my first time on the highway where the speed limit changes. The speed limit increasing. So I'm in Canada, it's usually a 50 and then goes to an 80 on a highway, right? Not like the 400 series, because I had my G1, guys. You guys are learning Ontarian things. Ooh. Which, fun fact, did you know that the 400 series is actually the wide, so the 401 has a part in it that is 22 lanes wide, and that is the widest highway in the world. Come on, Ontario. I was just there. So when I was going on the highway and being up in that truck, y'all, I was like, this is fast. I was going 70 and I'm like, Dad, this is too fast. Things are going too fast around me. That's just how I felt. And he's like, you gotta go, Pete. You gotta keep going. Cars are passing me. He's like, it's unsafe to go this slow. I'm like, I'm trying so hard to get up to 80. I'm like trying to get to 80. He's like, go 90, Paige. You gotta go. And I'm like, this is so fast. I feel like I'm flying an airplane. It was just a movement of which I had never experienced before. The relationship between my body and what was around me and how it was interacting was brand spanking new. I couldn't look at houses anymore. I didn't know how much I loved looking out the window until I started driving. I'm like, I can't look at anything anymore. I can't look at shit. I gotta look at the road. What the fuck? I kept driving. It was way easier in the little blue Mitsubishi than my parents' trucks. And then I got my driver's test time. And so I'm like, all right, time to do my driver's test. So I did my G2 test, which is the next stage of your license, which is when you can drive without somebody next to you. I did it with the car that I was driving in driver's ed, because that was the car that I drove with the most. And so Hulk Hogan and I were driving there. And by this time we formed a little camaraderie because I'm hilarious. He's like, all right, let me see your license. license, pulls it out. And in my license, 2016 was different, okay? I don't know why. I do know. I was very influenced by influencers at the time, and 2016 makeup is real. And so I gave him this ID and he goes, whoa, okay, serial killer Barbie. Okay, I don't think he said that because that's, you know, that's something that I would say. But I think he said, you look like serial killer Barbie. And when he said that, I was like, well, you look like Hulk Hogan. And then he laughed and I laughed and we're laughing in the, I think what y'all would call like the DMV. We're like getting my license. So anyway, I'm going in, get my license. So the gal comes out to drive with me. All right, I'm ready. I'm so, okay, let's go. Let's do this. You just follow the rules and you're fine. The only place where I lost a point was when it came to parallel parking on a really skinny street. And as I was, you know, getting into spot, there was a guy coming towards me and he was like trying to get in. And I'm like, bro. And like, I would have to like turn, but I would literally get him. Like, and it was just awful. And she's like, okay, try to get out of this and whatever. I just marked 2 points off. And those were the only 2 points I got off. And afterwards, Hulk Hogan told me, he was so excited. I was so excited. And he's like, honestly, I was like wishing you good luck because that girl is the meanest of the people that you could have had. So I was like, oh my God, I really hope that Barbie's okay there. Anyway, passed. Got my G2. It was pretty dope. So then, you know, I just kept driving. And driving is, yeah, like I said, not too bad if you just follow the rules. The only thing is keep your wits about you because other people don't always follow the rules. But you know what? It's a good thing that I'm autistic because I'm so quick on my feet and my brain is already going so fast that when under like a life or death situation, I'm like, done. And also it's a good thing I have ADHD because I can focus on everything around me at the same time. There was one time that I was driving home from the Toronto airport and so I'm on the 400 something and I'm exiting. And as I was exiting, so I hadn't, you know, braked in 80 kilometers. I'm exiting, time to brake, and I'm like, oh, I don't have brakes. That's strange. I could hear it and feel it. No brakes. Something happened. No brakes. Like my car was like trying to do something, wasn't working. I'm like, all right, no brakes. That's not okay because we are approaching a swervy, curvy corner. Cars stopped at a red light, and so we have to do something. And so I was just like, it was a matter of like literally 2 seconds. I wiggle wormed my car a little bit. I put my car in neutral and I pulled the e-brake and I just like maneuvered it and then just hung out behind. I almost skid. Thank God the light turned green right when I was getting in because I almost was going to skid into the cars if they hadn't moved. And then I was going through a green light and I was like, that happened because I work with the universe and the universe was like, yes, here you go. This is how we do it. And then I was like, all right, now I'm driving and I have the choice to accelerate to a speed that I would like. Let me figure this out. With adequate distance between me and the other cars, I realized, yep, no brakes. And so I called my father because I lived there at the time and my dad does car stuff all the time. I'm like, Dad, this is what happened. No brakes. And my dad was like, whoa, can you drive home? Do you want to not drive home? And I'm like, yeah, I think I can drive home. At this point, I only had, I think, 40 minutes. I wasn't on the 400 series. Yeah, so I had like 40 minutes to get home. And it was pretty much just like one road. And I'm like, you know what? I think like I can get home. I can just manage my speed and I can get home. Yeah. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And so anyway, I got home and my dad's in the driveway and he's like, let's figure this out. So he drove my car to the his mechanics who's going to look at it. And he drove it because, you know, I'm not going to drive it. And my dad was like, your car has no brakes. How did you drive this thing? I'm like, very strategically. You just got to feel it. And yeah, my brakes, like just the brake lines just corroded. So I lost all brake fluid. So no brakes. But I'm like, man, I'm fast. I didn't hesitate or panic or whatever. I was just like, beep. Had to tell you that story. The thing about driving other than rules is it's also the relationship between you and the vehicle that you're driving. I don't mean like relationship, but I mean like how you move together, what the pressure is like on the gas and the brakes, how finicky the steering is, etc. Just how fast and slow does your car move and how much or where do you need to do stuff to make it move the best. And so depending on the car that you drive, the technique that you use to drive is going to be a little different. The technique you use to park is going to be a little different. And I've had the same car for the last 8 years. I love my car. I don't want another car. My car is a 2010 Nissan Sentra. She is 14. I do have a teenager. She had 147,000 kilometers on her and she just hit 207,000 kilometers. Apparently it's silly how little I drive. But when I was 16, I was in grade 11. and you can't drive for most of the time you're 16 by yourself. So it wasn't until grade 12 I was driving, which was really just driving to school and back and whatever else I wanted to do in grade 12. Then first year and half of second year university, I didn't have my car. I went to the city and just took the bus. Then when I got home and COVID happened, I had a business at home, so I didn't leave. Then I moved and still had a business at home and didn't leave. So really now the only time that I'm driving, right, I teach dance too, so I'm driving to and from the studio a few times a week. Sometimes I'll drive to Toronto to see friends. So then there's a point in your license in Ontario where you have to go again when you've had your G2 for 1 year. You go and then you get your G license, which then is like you're good to go on all the major highways, all the hours of the night with any passengers, because there's rules about all the passengers and the times of the days and all that stuff. And so you can drive on the highway. And I was like, alrighty, I gotta drive on the highway. Holy shit. I've been driving on the highway, for just a smidge, and it still is so freaking intense. I haven't been diagnosed with it, but I have binocular vision, which basically means that my eyes are not directed at the same thing. Apparently, that can make highway driving something that is difficult and stressful. It's like really common in autistic people. It's really common in people with nervous system disorders, connectivity disorders, etc. Yeah, highway driving is intense. That's one of the reasons why I love my little car. She is so fast. You can accelerate like nobody's business. And so I'm never worried about making it. I'm never worried about like, merging? Like I can merge like a verge. I love, that doesn't make sense. I have to pay so much attention when I'm highway driving. I usually will put on music. I have a playlist specifically for highway driving, and it's songs that are like intense that I know all the words to. So when I'm playing the music, I'm like, like I'm playing like Mario Kart, but it seriously is like that. And there's no place that I get road rage more than the motherfucking highway. Can I say a few things about highway driving etiquette? Here's the thing, there are some things that they don't teach you. There are some things that aren't the law about driving, and so if you didn't do like a driver's ed, you probably wouldn't know. There are some things that are just like etiquette, or if you do this, it makes everyone's life easier. It makes driving easier. And boy, do I recommend following that etiquette, because oh God, does it. So hello, as a person with a platform right now, two things that I really want to talk about when it comes to highway driving. Number one, you don't pick a lane and then just stay in that lane the whole time. No, you should always be in the furthest right lane. Always. That's your goal. You want to get into that lane all the time. The other lanes are for passing. So the furthest lane to the right should be the slowest, and then it should gradually get faster as you go. I cannot stand a motherfucker that's in the third lane going 100 in 100. I cannot stand when there's 4 cars all going the same speed, all next to each other, like 9th graders in the hallway. And you're like, can you go single file so I can pass ya? I hate people that are like, I just stay in the second lane the whole time. You are part of the reason why people crash, because there needs to be use the highway correctly, would you? Move over. I hope, also, I'm not gonna make this a rule, but everyone should know that you do not just let in front of a big old transport truck. Oh my God. Someone did that the other day, like right behind me. They wanted to pass me so bad, but I had a car in front of me and there was a transport truck in the other lane, but we weren't near close enough to go in front of it yet. And he just went in front of it, and I was like, holy fuck. The truck was like, rah. And then later on when I had to go into that lane, I signaled and I'm like, I'm going, can I please go? Because the truck was like really going the same speed as me, and I'm like, can I please go into your lane? Please. And then he's like, okay, yeah, sure. He flashes lights. He's like, okay, yeah. And just looked down. I went, Second thing that I really want to talk about, traffic snakes. I'm saying it when I'm on the highway, I'm like, traffic snake, and we're traffic snaking. So how a traffic snake happens is when someone cuts over a bunch of lanes quickly, like being wrong and just being late for their exit. And then it causes a bunch of people in different lanes to have to brake. Once people start braking on the highway, the people behind them start braking. And then it becomes just a snake. It's like a snake just eats up all the cars and they all just break one at a time. This is what creates traffic jams. And then you're in a traffic snake. How to get out of the traffic snake is don't brake. Please try your hardest. Literally go 2 kilometers an hour. Don't brake, because stopping ruins everything. Stopping makes you eaten up by the snake. Everyone goes slow, then slowly you can all go a little bit faster. It's just, if you're ever in a traffic jam, please don't change into the other lane and cut someone off. Leave as much space between you and the other person like as you need to not be able to brake. Just try to coast, and it'll be way easier to coast out of it for everybody than everyone braking, going brake, bro, braking is ruin it. You're getting eaten by a snake. I'm gonna use this portion of the video to talk about the accidents or any incidents that I've had in my car. I've been pulled over by police 0 times. Thank the Lord Jesus. I'm so scared for the first time I get pulled over by a cop. I'm so terrified because I'm probably gonna get thrown in jail because I'll probably be screaming and crying. Screaming and fighting and cursing in the rain. 2 a.m. and I'm calling your name. I'm not good with cops. I don't know if you know this. I have PDA. It's just always been a thing. Always with me ever since I was little. Wow. I did get a stupid parking ticket one time. It was like $25. Apparently because I was parking in front of a driveway, which I was like, nay, this is literally not a driveway. There's a driveway right there. So then when it comes to like hitting stuff with my car, there was that one time, my mom's car mirror. There was one time when I was driving by myself in my car, and I was meeting my mom in the parking lot. So I found her, and then I was trying to pull into the spot next to her. And anyway, I was like so nervous and weird. She was watching me, and I was going so slow, and I rubbed against another car, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. And anyway, so the other car had nothing on it. My car just like scraped off a little bit of my car's paint. That was fine. And then the only other time was once, this was all in the first year or two, on a one-way street, and I was changing lanes, did not see a fucker over there, didn't check my blind spot. I'm telling you right now, I did not check my blind spot. I was like, you don't have to check your blind spot all the time. The one time I did not check my blind spot, and I thought I absolutely smashed our cars into each other. It turns out he had no damage on his car at all, and I just had a dent, like a little dent, and some more like paint transfer. And I came out and I was like crying and so sad. He was like in his early 20s and going to work at Subway or something. He's like, you're fine. I'm sorry. You're good. Don't worry about it, bro. Yeah, since then been pretty good. I mean, do I hit a curb the odd time? Actually, you know what? I don't really hit curbs often. There aren't many curbs where I'm from though too. But yeah, I'm a pretty good driver, and I don't hate driving now, especially in the summer, and I can just open the sunroof and play music, and it's just like you get to have like your own little concert by yourself. You get to do whatever you want. I don't have like any tint on my windows so people can see me all the time, but I don't care. I'm jamming. I'm doing whatever I want to do. I'm in my own little space. I'm in my own, like, it's like my house on wheels, you know? You can put things in your car that you like, and when you go in there, you're like, oh my God, what a place to be. I wish I could make my car cuter, but I'm never that gal that can just make things cuter, you know? Except this room. This room's cute. I like this room. I did cute on this room, didn't I? Advice for you driving. If you're anything like me, if you're autistic and they're like, you can't drive. Advice. There are 3 parts about driving, and one of them is the easiest. The first one, and the one that's easiest, is the rules. Learn the rules, follow the rules, and then you're good. And the other 2 are the in real life stuff, which can be a little scarier. The second one is a little bit easier than the last one, and that is get to know the feel of your car and working with your car. Every car is going to be a little bit different, and your technique's going to change a little bit per car. The last part about driving is watching out for dumbasses. But if you're paying attention, they're really not that unpredictable. I've never been like, you know? I've always been like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then it's a problem, and I'm like, the fuck? Like, come on. And then the things that aren't rules but are just like etiquette stuff, like go to the right on the highway. Don't break in a traffic snake. Oh, also wait as long as possible to merge. I know you may think it's helpful to merge sooner. It's actually not. Wait as long as possible to merge. I very much recommend that you take driver's ed before like getting your driver's license. I recommend getting your driver's license in the place or city that you drive most often. Oh my God, I love my backup camera. I love a backup camera. I definitely would have probably hit a few shopping carts by now if I didn't have a backup camera. And also, everyone's driving habits are going to be different depending on where they're from. Because everywhere you go, people have different social expectations of the drivers around them. Like, for example, in New York City, I could not drive in New York City because I like rules, and people in New York City do not like rules. They like themselves. And so you're driving in New York City, you got to be super duper alert because people are jumping out left, right, and center. Cars are driving by when they don't care. And the number one thing you're looking out for is bikes, and they're coming from freaking up the wazoo. But bring a New Yorker to my little small town, they would cause so many accidents because here we expect people to drive normally and just behave. We can tell when someone comes here that drives in the city, and it's because you drive like a doofus. And it's not even being a doofus, you're just rude and inconsiderate because other people are rude and inconsiderate because they think that you're rude and inconsiderate, so they have to be rude and inconsiderate. Anyway, and that is driving. Okay, question, how many do you drive? I wanna know. Let me know down below. Love you so much, Joe, bro. News! I don't know when I'm posting this, but my book comes out March 26th. That's my book. It's called But Everyone Feels This Way, How an Autism Diagnosis Saved My Life by Paige Layle. You can get it wherever books are sold, and there's also a link in my bio. Speaking of links in my bio, I created a website. It's really dinky. It's not great, but like you guys can go check it out and stuff. I hope to be getting help soon and not do everything by myself and learn how to be an adult. And once I do that, this is going to be a business and it is going to boom. And I have so many hopes and dreams, Paige. And shut up and just do them, or else you sound annoying. Shut up. Okay, peace out, Girl Scout. Love you to death. And at the end of the day, if you don't drive, don't worry about it. I think that cars are stupid, and I don't think that people should have to drive. I live for walkable cities and trains. Trains are the best. Trains are great. Wouldn't I like trains all over my plate? Okay, anyway, love you. Bye. Have a good day. Love you so much. Bye. This is the end of the video song. This video is to tell you the video's done. If you're hearing this, it's because the video's done. Go watch another one. Boop, boop. Have a good day. Love you so much. Bye.